every gamer knows all about Electronic Arts. For their great applications they've written for computers and for consoles, Electronic Arts is also the industry leader in developing and producing games for mobile devices. I'm happy to invite up Travis Boatman to talk you through their experiences with the iPhone SDK.
The first thing we wanted to say is thank you to Apple for inviting us to join in with this SDK process. And given that we only had 2 weeks, we wanted to do something that took advantage of a lot of the different features of the device. Everything from the touchscreen to the accelerometer. We wanted to have video and audio. We wanted to have a game that described all of them. So the game that we chose was a game that we have in production called Spore. And the idea of Spore is it's about taking a microorganism from the primordial soup at the bottom of the ocean and helping it evolve and grow and survive in this interesting world we have. So you can see the Spore here in the center of the screen, and the way that we chose to control the Spore was to use the iPhone's accelerometer. You can see John using the accelerometer here to tilt it right and left and get some of that motion that you saw earlier in that previous demo. The basic goal of the game is to take the Spore and eat anything smaller than you and avoid anything larger than you. If you do a good job with that, you're rewarded by what we call the evolution editor. And the evolution editor is a great place for us to take advantage of a lot of the touchscreen capabilities of this device. So we've gone from sort of the accelerometer, and now we're playing with the touch. What's so great about this is it allows you to customize the game in 2 different ways. First, we're going to customize the gameplay a little bit. So John's going to go in here and using his finger, he's just going to go ahead and touch the offensive track. And he's going to add in a pair of formidable-looking mandibles here on the front of our Spore. So you see those appear on the front. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to play with a little bit of a creative personalization here. Now this part is more about making the Spore look cool and interesting, and has less to do with the gameplay. But he's going to go ahead and use his finger and just start moving stuff around. So I think he's going to move the eyes forward here, and he's just touching and moving these forward. So imagine, this is all we've done in about 2 weeks, but if we had a lot of time, you could imagine us stretching this Spore out and adding colors and really making this like almost like a play area for people to personalize their Spores. Let's go ahead and bring that Spore back into the game. Now I'll talk a little bit about development. You notice we're moving from level 15 to level 16. And when we first came, we sat down and started working with the framework. It took us about 2 days to get Cocoa Touch up and running. Once we had that up and running, we were then able to bring in our entire game development and got the whole game up and running. So we're only really demonstrating a couple of levels here in the editor, but we have actually all 18 levels up and running. We have the full editor. In fact, John and I were sitting here playing and creating all these different kinds of Spores and experimenting with what we thought might be interesting to show you all today. It's really a lot of fun. In fact, the accelerometer was so comfortable, we were showing it to a bunch of Apple employees so they could get a sense of it. And they really liked playing with it. And lastly, we wanted to experiment with the video capabilities. So we threw in a little cutscene here at the end, just to show you what we could do by tossing in a video of our customized Spore making his way happily out into the world. And that's Spore from Electronic Arts.
I mean, I'm sure you've read a lot about Spore, and in 2 weeks, they got all of that up and running on the iPhone SDK. It's fantastic. Now, as you can see, clearly we have a great platform to build games on top of. Last, and certainly not least, is Sega. From Zaxxon to Sonic the Hedgehog, Sega has been a household gaming name for more than 25 years. I'd like to bring up Ethan Einhorn to take you through what they accomplished.
And Apple started talking about what games would be great to bring to the iPhone platform. Super Monkey Ball was a natural choice. When they told us that we'd only have 2 weeks to create a full 3D demo of the game, I thought that was impossible. But here it is, thankfully up and running, and it looks awesome. And we were able to do this because we were working with a terrific, flexible, and powerful SDK. So the object of Super Monkey Ball is to guide Ai the monkey through a series of mazes, collecting bananas along the way for extra lives. It's a really simple concept to pick up on, and the controls are easy to pick up on too. All Gordon has to do to move Ai around is tilt the device. It's such a comfortable, smooth way to play the game that even if you've never played a video game before, you'll know exactly what to do when you pick up an iPhone. Now for me, I'm a hardcore gamer, so it was really tough for me to wrap my brain around the idea of not playing with analog sticks. But after 2 weeks with the iPhone, it's going to be very hard for me to go back and play this on a traditional game controller. This feels like it's always the way Super Monkey Ball was meant to be played. So now I'm a console producer, and this team, they're a group of console developers. So for us, by far the most exciting thing was that we've been able to create on iPhone the type of game we're used to making. This is not a cell phone game. This is a full console game. And if anything, we underestimated what the machine was able to do graphically from the start. We had to actually fly in an extra artist to start scaling up the quality of the visual to match what the output was capable of giving us. And that's the best kind of problem that you have to solve on the development side.